I wanted to find out if fire starter Pokemon could beat Pokemon Scarlet and be crowned the true champions of Paldea, and well, there was only one way to find out. Some of the most iconic Pokemon in the game's history have been fire types, and it's easy to see why. Fire types have some of the coolest designs, strongest attacks, and best all-rounders, but they're also one of the most accessible Pokemon types, being one of the 3 starter choices. Now, I've always been a Bulbasaur guy, but there's just something so satisfying about destroying your opponent with a Fire Blast. When it actually hits, that is. The pool of great fire Pokemon is huge, but always fighting for a top spot are at least one of the fire starters from each generation. And that got me thinking, could a team of fire starters beat Pokemon Scarlet and be crowned the true champions? And with that, let me introduce the team we'd be finding out with. You can't do a fire starter run in this game without the main man Fuecoco, and of course, he's called Scarlet. Next up and bringing those fast hands is Chimchar the Fire Monkey, nicknamed Diamond. In the 3rd slot, we've got the foxiest fire type of them all, it's X, the Fennekin. Bringing those dark moves to the team, we've got Moon, the Litten, Ruby, it's Ruby, the Torchic, and finally, of course, it had to be, it's the original fire starter himself, it's Red, the Charmander. Let me know down below if you'd have chosen a different team and why. Now, on top of only being able to use these 6 Pokemon, we've also got some other rules to follow. I also wanted to thank everyone who watched, liked and subscribed my Grass Starters Only video. I was honestly blown away at the reception, so thank you. Anyway, without further ado, let's kick off this challenge on the Poké Path. We load a new save file and spend some time making our appearance a little more appropriate. In true Pokemon style, we start off in our bedroom with our mum downstairs, and by the way, I'm yet to see a design where she actually has her own room. After mashing through the dialogue, we're finally able to make our way down the path to Nemona's house, being chased by 3 starter Pokemon. We're then asked the question every Pokemon trainer dreams of: which one of these Pokemon do you want to start your journey with? And after a long deliberation, we chose Fuecoco. Nemona drags us to the beach for some R&R, but ambushes us with a Pokemon battle instead. I've said it before, and I will say it again, this girl is trouble. After wiping the floor with Nemona, we get a crash course in catching a Pokemon who will never leave our PC, and we're finally able to walk around. We make it literally about 100 feet before another cutscene arrives. We see an injured Koraidon on the beach and decide to go and help him. Long story short, I tried telling an army of fire Pokemon with one of them, but they weren't having any of it, and Koraidon ended up saving us at the cost of our only sandwich. We chat to and be a very angry Arven before we're actually able to run around freely, and this freedom gives us the perfect opportunity to get our team across, and that's exactly what we do. Transferring them from my main save to this one via Pokemon Home is a lifesaver for challenge runs like this. On our way to Mesagoza, we get a couple of levels and battle a few trainers, including this guy. Now, I'm sure he's probably a lovely bloke, but hanging around the school run waiting for students definitely isn't a great look. We make it to Mesagoza, and of course, Nemona wants to battle us again. What a surprise. Even though her Pawmi puts up a good fight, we're able to breeze past Nemona and head into the city. We're hit by another wall of cutscenes, this time setting up the bad guys, Team Star. Now, if you don't know by now, Team Star are the love disc of Pokemon bad guys. We throw some shade their way by telling them we don't know who they are, beat them in both battles, and collect our prize, the Terra Orb, something we instantly chuck in the backpack and forget about. After some more cutscenes, Nemona shows us to our room, and I honestly think they missed a trick with this one. Secret bases were such cool places in Ruby and Sapphire, but since then the amount of customization we get is a little lacking. Anyway, we're finally free and can head on over to Cortondo. Cortondo Gym is all about bug, and let's face it, for a fire team, it should be a walk in the park. We get our team to level 15 and in the process almost get taken out by a random Diglett who goes on an Oko spree. We head into this gym battle with Ruby, Red and newly evolved Diamond. Before we can do any battling though, we need to take on the Olive Roll, one of the most frustrating game mechanics that makes you push a giant helium-filled olive around a course. Just call me Olive Ronaldo. God, I hate myself. We finally make it to the gym leader, and I honestly went into this battle a little overconfident. Ruby leads and takes care of Nimble and Tarantula quickly with a flame charge. Teddiursa is up next, and I expected a similar outcome, but he actually manages to take down Ruby with Fury Swipes. That opens the door though for Red, who hits hard with Ember and manages to burn the fake bug. Another Ember and Teddiursa goes down, winning us our first gym badge of the run. After finishing up in Cortondo, we head back through Messagoza to the east side in search of the giant rock crab. Along the path, Ruby, Red and X all evolve to their second stages and we carry on searching. Admittedly, I was a little nervous about this fight because rock moves could do some serious damage, and this early on we don't have a massive move pool to choose from. Arven rings us to tell us he had a look and definitely couldn't see it, but I don't actually think he looked that hard considering the bloody size of the thing. On our journey here, Diamond grew to level 17, meaning we had to leave him in the box for this time, but that didn't matter. Ruby destroyed the giant rock crab with his double kick, making it look easy. I don't know why I was nervous. Ruby made this a cakewalk. At the end of the battle, Moon evolved and Arven made us a sandwich. After beating up the giant crab, we head on over to Artazon for a treasure hunt, although the only treasure here is to face off against Brassius, the grass gym leader. We make our way around town, catching some floras and trade them in for a chance to battle Artazon's answer to Batman. After casually jumping off a windmill blade, Brassius challenges us to battle, and for this fight we brought Diamond again as lead with Red and X as backup. Brassius leads with Petilil and we get a massive Ember off, but it isn't enough to one-shot. Petilil manages to put Diamond to sleep and hit us with a Mega Drain. Fortunately for us though, Diamond is a light sleeper and wakes up after one attack, finishing off Brassius' opener with a second Ember. Next up is Smoliv, who drops just below half HP after one Ember and she replies with a Tackle. Diamond finishes off Smoliv with a second Ember and we're on to Brassius' last Pokemon and Ace. Sudowoodo is actually a little scary with his use of rock moves, and after tanking a Trailblaze, Diamond gets taken out with a huge rock throw. We send out X to finish off the wannabe tree, and after outspeeding him twice, X's Flame Charge finishes the battle. Brassius is obviously angry about the loss, but I don't really know why. We're all fire Pokemon, what else do you expect to happen? He gives us our second badge and we head on out of town. After leaving the Sunflower City behind us, we head on over to the west side of Paldea in search of a giant flying bird. In my Grass Starters only run, this was definitely one of the most annoying battles I'd ever come up against, and so, to test the water a little, I jumped straight in without too much prep. We got the team to level 19 on the way, and Scarlet evolved to his second stage. A Nature Mint we found boosted Ruby's attack over special attack, and I planned to use his double kick to do a bit of damage. Other than that, I didn't really have a main plan, and thought I'd head in to see how much damage we did and plan from there. We open up with Ruby, but before he can even take a look around, Bombardier's wing attack absolutely destroys him. X is up next and actually manages to get a decent chunk of damage off with Flame Charge. The first attack boosted our speed, meaning we're actually faster than this giant bird, and after getting a free hit through an avoided attack, X goes down on his third turn, getting a good chunk of damage off in the process. We send out Scarlet next and use Yawn. I would have used this first if I'd have known it was a cheat code. Bombardier manages to get 2 hits on us before falling asleep, leaving Scarlet with 2 HP and a dream. A massive Ember chunks down the giant bird's health and a second one moves us on to phase 2. You can't heal up between phases here, but at least we finally get some support from Arven. Red is sent out first and we go for the annoying play. We hit Bombardier with Smokescreen to try and reduce accuracy. Red goes down to a second attack and Arven decides to Rock Polish 3 times in a row. Scarlet then gets outsped as soon as he enters and also goes down. We send Moon next, hoping to get some big hits on. Arven finally takes the hint though and uses Smackdown, and as we're about to get a wing attack to the face, Smokescreen comes in handy and makes Bombardier miss. Incredibly, with Moon's first Ember, she burns the Grass Assassin, making its physical attacks almost useless. Arven hits again with Smackdown, and in reply, Bombardier misses another attack. Go on Smokescreen. Moon gets another decent Ember off, and as I click for a third, Arven finally pulls his weight and finishes off the Sky Titan with another Smackdown. Considering I was only going in to test our damage, I definitely didn't expect to win, but I'll 100% take it. Another day and another photo for the album. After overcoming one of the harder challenges for the run, we fix our eyes on the next prize, the Dark Base. We level up our team to 21 on wild Pokemon and battling some of the local students. We make sure Moon has double kick for a bit of extra fighting damage and head in to battle the guard. Unfortunately for me, I can't do maths, and in battling the first guard, Ruby gets to level 22, so he's benched for this one. We battle our way through 30 dark Pokemon trying to avoid Murkrow's flying moves, finally coming face to face with Giacomo. Guacamole rides in on his dark chariot and we prepare for battle. Leading with Pawniard, we throw Diamond out first, and a strong aerial ace cuts us just above half HP, but with a bulked up Mach Punch, we OHKO the dark little shrimp. Revavroom comes out next and we get a good bit of damage off with Mach Punch even through Revavroom's Intimidate. We tank a Swift and heal up with an Oranberry. After another Mach Punch Swift trade, I thought I'd try something a little bit different. I tried using Flame Wheel for that fire damage, but unfortunately Revavroom outsped us and Diamond goes down. Out comes Moon with her new double kick move, and to be honest, it doesn't do anywhere near as much as I thought it would. We try again, and after a Metal Sound, Revavroom's Wicked Talk hers. Moon manages to tank a second attack and gets a third double kick off, pushing Guacamo's Starmobile into red health. Moon goes down after a valiant effort and we send out X to clean up. A Metal Sound lowers X's defense, but 2 flame charges gets a good chunk of damage off. Even with a double speed boost though, X can't outspeed and goes down to a third Snarl. It's up to Red next, and after brushing off a Metal Sound, Red hits hard with a Fire Fang, winning us the battle and our next badge. After DJ Vice paid the price, we head towards the sparkling city of Levincia to attempt our next badge. Levincia is home to the electric gym leader Iono, whose belly bolt can really take a beating. Although the level cap for this gym is 24, we get our team up to level 23 because I'm not making that mistake again. For this battle, I decide to head in with Scarlet, Moon, Ruby and Diamond, a good mix of moves to hopefully win the battle for us. I also give the team a mix of berries to help with either confusion or paralysis. After preparing the team, we head into the gym, and before we even get close to the counter, we get a phone call. I swear this girl is either stalking us or tracking us. Either way, it ain't right. We're dragged outside for a battle against our rival Nemona again. Nemona leads with Rockruff, and a strong double kick from Ruby takes him down quickly. Next up is Pawmi, and I don't actually have a good counter for him. What surprised me though is a single Flame Charge took him down. I used Flame Charge again against Nemona's Ace Sprigatito, and a good chunk of damage was gone. A Hone Claws and a quick attack won't do much against Ruby though, and we win this battle easily with another Flame Charge. After an easy win, Nemona compliments us for battling like someone with more than 2 gym badges. And yeah, you don't say, I've got hundreds. Out of the frying pan into the fire though, we manage to escape and head back to the gym for a chance to battle Iono. First though, Iono tells us about being a gym leader and a full-time content creator. But who'd want to do that anyway? We then have to play a game of Where's Wally? No, not that Wally, this Wally. We make short work of Iono's games and the gym trainers before we can actually face off against the leader herself. Iono leads with a Wattrel and we lead with Moon, although I took the berry off her to counter Pluck. Moon outspeeds Wattrel, and 2 solid bites later, Wattrel goes down without even using a Pluck anyway. Bellybolt comes out next, and we try using a double kick, but what a mistake that was. Each hit boosts Bellybolt's stats individually, and now we have a jacked up Toad on our hands. A single spark takes out Moon, and I am left reeling. We send out Scarlet next, who gets a Yawn off, but in reply, Bellybolt gets 2 water guns off against us. Now, fast asleep, this oversized jelly baby has his health chipped away until eventually going down to an Incinerate. Luxio comes out next, and we try to outdamage with Scarlet, but after a massive effort, Luxio defeats him. We send out Diamond next, and with a huge Mach Punch, KOs Luxio, bringing out Iono's ace, Miss Magius. I gambled that Iono would use a Confuse Ray first and try to get a free bulk off. This was a mistake, and Diamond goes down to half health from a massive Hex. Diamond gets a big Mach Punch off next turn, and Iono tries to confuse us. Not today though, we have berries on our side. Diamond snaps out of confusion, and using another Mach Punch, we get the KO and collect our 3rd badge of the run. After leaving Levincia, we get our team to level 26 in preparation for the fire base. This base gave me nightmares during the grass starter only run, and I wanted to go in fully prepared. En route, we battle some more students before arriving at the gates to hell. We battle our way through the horde of fire Pokemon and come face to face with Mela. I knew this battle would be frustrating from the start. We have no good moves to counter fire Pokemon yet, and that meant we could only fight fire with fire, literally. We lead with Diamond second against Mela's Torkoal, and although he tried, he just couldn't out DPS and eventually goes down. Next up is Ruby, who manages to finish off Torkoal with a double kick, bringing out Mela's ace, Shedder the fire-breathing Revavroom. We try to chunk down the crazy car's health one move at a time, and after a bit of damage, Ruby goes down. X comes out next, and he manages a few more attacks before passing the baton to Red. Red comes out, and with a Dragon Breath to clean up, we finally manage to melt away the fire-breathing car and collect another win. After the marathon that was the Firebase, I hoped a trip over to the Steel Titan would be a little quicker. We battle a couple more trainers on the way, meaning our team is almost at the level 27 cap. We kick FaZe off with Moon, who manages to damage the giant steel worm with double kick. After a couple more attacks, I swap Moon for Ruby before he goes down. Ruby hits hard with a flame charge, and a second one finishes Phase 1. Phase 2 starts where Phase 1 finished, Ruby melting with flame charge. Ruby dismantles this hunk of steel, and we defeat another Titan. Now, I really don't want to go all Jonah Hill at this point, but this clip does not do Combusken any justice whatsoever.
And it's not even that big of a deal. Something like 8% of kids do it, but whatever.
Anyway, another Titan down and another candid photo collected. Arguably one of the hardest challenges of this run is up next over in Cascarrafa. Kofu leads the water gym, and so far I have absolutely no way to counter water other than praying. We get the team to level 30 and attempt the battle with Ruby, X and Scarlet. Attempt number 1 went about as well as attempt number 2, badly. We get to Kofu's ace both times, but that furry crab is just too fast, too powerful and absolutely destroys us. We need a rethink. We head over to Mesagoza in search of some battle items. We buy a few charcoals to boost fire damage and one miracle seed to boost grass. Why a grass boost, I hear you ask? Because the absolute beast that is X can learn Grass Knot, a somewhat powerful grass move that increases damage the bigger the opponent. Attempt 3 goes much smoother. Veluza goes down to a single Grass Knot, a side beam from X and a slash from Ruby, finish off Wugtrio, and we are looking strong. Crabominal comes out next and manages to finish off Ruby. X hits hard with a massive Grass Knot but does go down the next turn, and it's all down to Scarlet. I am praying that Scarlet can outspeed this goofy crab, but a brutal hit by Crabhammer OHKOs Scarlet. For attempt number 4, we swap out Scarlet for Moon and try a similar game plan. Veluza goes down to X's Grass Knot, a side beam connects with Wugtrio, and we back out to let Ruby finish off with Slash. Crabominal comes out and finishes off Ruby, who passes back to X. X hits with a massive Grass Knot, but a huge Crabhammer from the sidewalking cloud takes X down. Last up is Moon, and if I've done my maths right, Moon should outspeed the crab, and that's why he's here. I hit A on bite and crossed my fingers. He does outspeed and he does get the KO. What a beast Moon is. Kofu's defeated and we get our hands on the water gym badge. Next up is Atticus and the Poison Base. Between Romeo and Juliet quotes, Atticus can actually be quite tricky, so I wasn't especially looking forward to this one. We got our team to level 32 on the way and head over to the front gate. We battle our way through the 30 poison Pokemon without much issue and come face to face with the wannabe Bard. For this fight we taught Diamond, Dig and X Psyshock, which will hopefully turn the battle in our favour. We lead with Ruby against Skuntank. Skuntank hits us with Venoshock and we reply with Flame Charge, boosting our speed. Now faster, we trade Slash for Venoshock twice before we attempt to finish the fight with another Slash but fall to a Sucker Punch. Diamond comes out next and KOs Skuntank with a Mach Punch, bringing out Revavroom. A huge bulldoze almost KOs Diamond, but he stands strong and manages to get a Flame Wheel off. A Mach Punch almost finishes off Revavroom, but Diamond does go down. Moon comes out and outspeeding, she finishes off Revavroom with Fire Fang. Next up is Muck, and we manage to beat it in a damage match, but Moon loses a lot of health in the process. Last up is Atticus's ace, Navi the Starmobile, and he instantly wipes out Moon. Out goes Red, who trades Noxious Talk for Smokescreen and then tanks another attack to set up Sunny Day. Red does go down in turn 3 to a spin out, but he managed to get some good prepping. X is up next and hits hard with Psyshock, managing to get 3 hits off before going down. Last up is Scarlet, and I am crossing everything he can get the win for us. We trade Noxious Talk for Incinerate, and trade again. I know Navi is one hit away from going down, but we're also not looking great either. Praying to Arceus, I use Incinerate and hope Scarlet can survive one more hit. Noxious Talk hits and it leaves Scarlet with 10 HP. In reply, Scarlet gets a perfectly timed Incinerate off and puts this smog of a car back to confinement. Atticus defeated and Poison Base secured. If you have made it this far into the video, it means you're either enjoying the content or using it as background noise. Either way, thank you. If you are enjoying the video though, please hit that like button. It does mean a lot and really does help the channel. If you want to see more though, definitely hit that subscribe button. Next up on our hit list is the impenetrable force that is Larry and his team of normal Pokemon. This is a big milestone in our run because Larry's level cap of 36 means we can get our final evolutions. After getting our team to scratch, we head over for our next challenge. I actually found out in this run though, you don't even need to beat the gym trainers, you can literally just put the recipe straight in. I can't believe it took me this long to figure that out. For this battle, we head in with Ruby, Moon and Diamond, hoping that the mix of fighting moves wins it for us. Ruby heads out first against Larry's Kamala, and this is such an annoying Pokemon who constantly uses Yawn. Not today though. Ruby OHKOs the dozing Koala and we move on to Dudunsparce, a scary Pokemon whose use of ground moves can be devastating against a team of fire types. A strong double kick lowers Dudunsparce's health, but he counters with Glare. Paralysed, Ruby misses 2 turns and Larry seizes the opportunity to get some damage in. Clinging on, Ruby gets an aerial ace off which finishes off Larry's second Pokemon. Next up is Larry's ace, a super fast Staraptor who instantly finishes off Ruby once he'd finished Terrastilizing. Moon goes out second and after being hit by a facade we miss our first attack. We survive Staraptor's second hit with 4 HP left and manage to get a massive cross chop off in return. Moon can't quite get the win though and is knocked out. It's now all down to Diamond. A horrible matchup on paper, Diamond being fighting type should struggle, but that's where his secret weapon comes in. Mach Punch always goes first and he gets a big hit in against Larry's ace Staraptor. Another gym badge down, and as we're about to celebrate, ever persistent Nemona gets involved. Sending out Lycanroc first, we still have Ruby in first position. A massive double kick OHKOs the Stone Puppy and we face off against Goomy. Without a main counter, I go with Slash and it's huge. It drops Goomy down to a slither of health and we tank a Dragon Pulse. A second attack KOs Goomy and next up is Poor Me. We go in hard with a Blaze Kick which OHKOs the little teddy bear, and finally we're up against Nemona's ace Meowscarada. After she'd finished terrastilizing the poor cat, we get a huge OHKO with another Blaze Kick. When will this girl learn? Next up is the Ghost Gym and one of the rare opportunities for a doubles match outside of the Titan battles. We get our team up to level 41 and head up the icy slopes to Montenevera. With Gangster Granny being a ghost leader, we head in with Moon, X, Red and Scarlet for that mix of dark moves. Moon goes in hard with her new move Darkus Lariat which wipes out Rhymes' Banette. X gets a hit on Mimikyu removing his disguise and setting up the KO in turn 2. Turn 2 sees X tank a hit from Mimikyu before getting a huge hit with Mystical Fire OHKOing Houndstone. Moon then uses her new favourite move again, completely wrecking Rhymes' Mimikyu. Last up is Rhymes' ace, Toxtricity, who has to face us on his own. Rhyme G's up the crowd and terrastilizes her Toxtricity, which did absolutely nothing, considering he went down instantly once he'd finished messing around. Well, that was over fast, another gym badge secured. After winning our rap battle, we head out in search of the infamous Ground Titan. For what could be a difficult battle, we prepare by teaching Ruby low kick and get a couple of levels. After getting caught up in the new Reacher episode, Moon gets to level 45 and that means she's benched. On our way to the desert, we bug the game jumping into some water twice and finally come face to face with the Mammoth himself. Ruby leads our team with low kick and does some serious damage. We finish off phase 1 with a Diamond Mach Punch, saving Ruby's low HP. Phase 2 starts and Arvin, bless him, tells us about how his Scrivillain will defeat the Titan single-handedly before being quickly KO'd. Ruby gets 2 decent hits off but goes down to a stomping tantrum. Meanwhile, Arvin seems too scared to throw out a second Pokemon. We send out X next, whose Grass Knot makes short work of this crazed beast, another Titan down. Arvin then cooks up another sandwich and we celebrate in style with a selfie. After beating the Ground Titan, we head on over to our next gym challenge, and that means another chance for nagging Nemona to pester us for a battle. Diamond leaves and KOs Lycanroc with a huge Mach Punch. Pormot does manage to take Diamond out but can't get past Ruby, who sweeps him aside. Last up is Nemona's ace Meowscarada, and another chance to find out which move would OHKO this time. Ruby's Blaze Kick obliterates Meowscarada, and we can finally head over to the Psychic Gym. We bring Red, Ruby, X and Moon with us for this battle and jump right into our emotions. After finishing up with Dendra, who by the way gives me Flannery vibes, we're able to face off against Tulip. We lead with Red against Tulip's backwards Giraffe, and a couple of flamethrowers take him out. Next up is Gardevoir, and although he might look like a dragon, Charizard isn't weak to those fairy moves, meaning Red breezes past Tulip's second Pokemon. Tulip sends out her weird Ostrich next, but a massive flamethrower sends her reeling. Surviving with low HP, Red finishes off a Spartha with an Air Slash. Last up is Tulip's ace Florges, and so far she hasn't even managed to get past Red. After terrastilizing Florges, we get a flamethrower off but go down to a Psychic in response. What a beast Red is, by the way. We send out Moon to pick up the win, and she finishes off Florges, getting us the 7th badge. On a roll from the last battle, we head straight over to the Ice Gym and get a couple of levels on route. Arriving in town, we jump straight back down using Koraidon as our sled. I never know what to do on this one, go quick or try and get all the barriers. Anyway, we head straight back up and fight Grusha, and I'm a little nervous. After the battle we had in our grass run, this has to be easier, right? Right? We head into battle with Moon, Scarlet, Ruby and X. Moon faces off against Frostmoth, and outspeeding in turn 1, we get a massive flame charge off, which OHKOs. Beartick is up next, and although he gets a harsh earthquake off, he can't survive 2 flame charges from Moon. Next up is Sir Titan, and a cross chop does major damage, but he just can't survive a water attack. We send out Ruby next, who outspeeds and gets the KO onto Grusha's ace. Altaria comes out, and in its normal form is a little annoying, but as an ice type, easy. Ruby hits hard with Blaze Kick, and we get a very easy win. Why was I even nervous? Gym challenge completed. After the cakewalk that was Grusha, we head over to the fairy base in search of Ortega. En route, we get our team up to level 50 and spend a bit of time fine-tuning. Red, Scarlet and X become the outright special attackers, while Moon, Diamond and Ruby form our physical attackers. Everyone receives a Persimberry to counter confusion, and we head inside. After fighting through the horde of fairies, we come face to face with Ortega himself. Leading with Red, he nearly beats Azumarill, but a huge water hit takes us out. Scarlet comes out next and manages to revenge Red, finishing off Azumarill. Dashbun comes out next, and although he tries, he's no match for Scarlet. Ortega sends out Wigglytuff, and this Pokemon can tank. That is unless you're up against Scarlet, who destroys his opponent. Next up is Ortega's ace, and after a massive effort, Scarlet does eventually go down. We send out X though to tidy up. A Mystical Fire gets some good damage off, but of course Ortega uses Confuse Ray again. Turn 3 and X snaps out of confusion, getting a Grass Knot off. Of course, Rukba's next attack is a Magic Talk, which manages to confuse us again. X snaps out of confusion though and lands a massive Mystical Flame. We lock in to use another Mystical Flame, which should finish off the fight, but Rukba outspeeding us gets another Magic Talk off, and of course it confuses us. With 9 HP, X hurts himself in confusion and goes down. Our remaining Pokemon are all weak to Fairy, and that means this could be fun. We send out Ruby, who actually tanks a Fairy attack much better than I thought he would, and replies with a Blaze Kick. A Confuse Ray lands, and after eating his berry, Ruby finishes off the fluffy pink car with a second Blaze Kick. Never in doubt. From one base to the other, we arrive at the fighting base in search of Eri. We fly through the 30 Pokemon and finally come face to face with Eri. Leading with X, we make short work of Toxicroak, who goes down to a single Psychic. Next up is Persimium, who also can't survive a Psychic attack, and Lucario suffers the same fate with a Mystical Fire. As X is about to get a clean sweep, Annihilate tanks a Psychic, and his Rage Fist KOs our first Pokemon. We send out Ruby, who gets the KO with an Aerial Steel Ace, and last up is Aries Ace. Although Ruby managed a chunk of damage, he just couldn't get the KO and goes down to Kath's high horsepower. Between turns, Kath's defense stat is increased, and what better way to counter that than with a special attack Charizard. We send out Red next, who hits hard with an Air Slash. Even though he already outspeeds us, Kath uses Shift Gear for a second time and Red gets the KO. Maybe Kath knew this was inevitable. Eri is beaten and so is the last of the bases. All that stands between us now is a battle with Clavell and then Penny. We prepare for our fight against Director Clavell with some levelling and a few item changes. After arriving outside the school entrance, we come face to face with Clive, aka Director Clavell. We lead with Moon, hoping his mix of dark and fighting moves gives us the edge. Clavell leads with Oranguru, although I think he did because he literally only lasted a second. Next up is Houndoom, and although he outspeeds us, he doesn't do massive damage. Moon, on the other hand, destroys Clavell's second Pokemon with a Cross Chop. Abomasnow comes out next, and can Moon get that third Oko in a row? Of course he can. A massive flame charge wipes out the abominable snowman. Clavell sends Poltergeist out next, and that's right, another Oko for Moon as Darkest Lariat destroys Clavell's teapot, and as a British person, that hurt. As I'm trying not to get too carried away, Clavell sends out a Moongus who puts a stop to Moon's antics. Although she gets a massive hit off, Moon doesn't manage the 5 in a row Oko. Last up is Clavell's Ace Quaquavel, and until this point we had it easy. We get a good hit off against the Terrastilized Dog, but a super effective Aqua Step puts Moon in her place. X goes out next, and I'm hoping for a huge Grass Knot, but instead we're outsped and X goes down, taking our only other grass attack out. Ruby goes out next, although he tanks an Aqua Step, managing to get a slash in. Quaquavel still has a third of his HP left. Ruby goes down. Other than sheer luck, I have one last play up my sleeve, but if I gamble too early, I risk losing the whole fight. I decide to go for it and I send out Diamond. I choose Mach Punch and cross my fingers. The absolute legend that is Diamond gets his attack off cleanly and manages to KO the quiffed up duck, giving us the win. That went from easy street to hell very quickly. Next up though is Penny, and this could be tricky. After a quick heal up, we head straight over to Penny, and I've never understood why she hides her face like it's a secret. The massive Eevee on her back is a huge giveaway. Penny sends out Umbreon first, and we lead with Moon. Umbreon is such a tank though, it took 2 super effective cross chops and a flame charge to knock him out. I was hoping the speed boost from that flame charge helps us out just enough against Vaporeon, and it does. We get a massive Trailblaze off, but without the KO, the reply could be bad. Not an issue though. Vaporeon's attack misses and Moon gets rid of Penny's biggest threat. Umbreon's spamming of Baby Doll Eyes is having a massive effect on Moon's damage though, so we swap her out for Scarlet. Bad timing. Scarlet takes a full thunder to the face from Jolteon, taking him down to half HP. Scarlet attacks next to her with Torch Song, KOing Penny's Jolteon. Next up is Leafeon, and as you can imagine, this one didn't last long. Although he outspeeds us, he can't survive a Torch Song and goes down in one hit. Last up is Sylveon, and I still have no true counters for fairy Pokemon other than sheer damage. Scarlet uses Round but does go down to a Shadow Ball, and Red comes out next. He gets a couple of good hits off, but Sylveon is giving as good as she gets. Holding on with 3 HP, Red looks like he's about to finish off the fight, but no. Penny uses Quick Attack, which knocks Red out of the battle. We send out Ruby, and as I'm waiting to see if he can survive a fairy attack, we don't find out. Penny uses Baby Doll Eyes instead of attacking, and we get an easy KO. Starfall streak complete. After beating Penny, we fly straight over to Cascarrafa Lake in search of the last and possibly the hardest Titan Pokemon. Leading with X and his Dazzling Gleam, this should be pretty straightforward though. We start the battle and X really does make short work of Phase 1. 3 fairy attacks and we're straight through. Phase 2 starts, and even though there's a giant blue whale in front of him, Arvin still apparently can't see the Titan. Still leading with X, we use Grass Knot, which ruins the water type Dondozo. Phase 3 starts and we go straight in with Dazzling Gleam. X then manages to tank a Muddy Water Water, having his accuracy dropped in the process. Turn 2 and we hit hard again with a Dazzling Gleam, but rather than use Muddy Water, which might have KO'd us, Tatsugiri uses Dragon Pulse and we survive. Turn 3 and we finish off the False Dragon with another Fairy attack. Maybe the highest level, but it's not much of a challenge. Path of Legends complete. After completing all the challenges so far, there's only one thing left to do. Beat the Elite Four and be crowned Champions of Paldea. It's not that easy though. We have to get through the most annoying part of the game in my opinion. The test. I honestly think this slog of a dialogue is only there to stop the button mashers from progressing. We finally make it through and we're ready to face the challenge head on. Rika uses ground type Pokemon and this could be scary for us if we're not careful. We lead with X and his Grass Knot, which OHKOs the clueless whale. Donphan would have gone down to a single hit as well, but Sturdy kept him in the battle, and in return he gets a massive Earthquake off against us. X is low HP, but he manages to finish off Rika's second Pokemon. Dugtrio comes out next and already low, Dugtrio gets a Sucker Punch off against X. We didn't raise no quitter though, and X hangs in there with 1 HP, managing to get his attack off and OHKO's Dugtrio. Next up is Camrupt, who barely made it onto the court before going down to a massive Grass Knot. Rika's final Pokemon and ace is Clodsire, and after Terrastilizing, X gets his attack off but can't survive an Earthquake. He tried, but he just couldn't get the clean sweep. We send out Diamond, who uses Mach Punch and gets the first win for us. Leading with Moon this time, we should do quite well against Steel Pokemon. Moon hits hard with Flame Charge and Copper Jar goes down. Bronzong is up next and a second Flame Charge removes him from battle. Corviknight comes out next and after almost going down to a Flame Charge, Poppy uses Iron Defense. A second attack gets rid of the bird anyway and we face off with Magnezone. Flame Charge does some serious damage, but Magnezone replies with a Light Screen. That won't do much in this battle unfortunately. Moon hits again and Magnezone goes down. Last up is Poppy's ace Tinkaton, and this could be scary using a Dark type, but Moon has other ideas. A huge Flame Charge wipes out most of Tinkaton's HP, but in reply Poppy uses Stone Edge. Moon avoids the attack though and finishes off the second Elite Four member with ease. After looking around before, I still couldn't find a decent counter for Flying type Pokemon, and that could make this battle tricky. We lead with Scarlet and hope stacking Torch Songs gets us the win. Tropius comes out first and instantly gets deleted with an OHKO Torch Song. Scarlet's also holding Throat Spray, which gives us a free boost. Staraptor's Intimidate makes no difference when we're using special attacks, and after tanking a Brave Bird, Scarlet wipes out Larry's second Pokemon with a boosted Torch Song. Next up is Altaria, who gets the first attack in with a sharp Dragon Pulse. Scarlet eating it up though counters with Shadow Ball, instantly removing Altaria from play. Oricario outspeeds us and Larry gets in first with a Teeter Dance, confusing Scarlet. Scarlet hurts himself in confusion and we miss a turn. A second attack from Oricario reduces us to 49 HP, but Scarlet manages to get his attack off and KOs the cheerleading bird with Torch Song. Out comes Flamigo, Larry's ace, and unfortunately Scarlet can't attack fast enough, meaning we go down to a close combat. Out goes X and absolutely destroys Larry's ace with a Mystical Fire, giving us the win against the third Elite Four member. Last up is Old Evil Eyes himself, Hassel and his Dragon type Pokemon. We lead with X, who just obliterates Noivern with Dazzling Gleam. Hassel then sends out Dragalge and I realise I didn't give any of my team berries. Not an issue for X though, a huge Psychic attack wipes out the second Pokemon without reply. Next up is Haxorus, an awesome Pokemon, but just as he enters battle, he leaves battle after X finishes him off with another Dazzling Gleam. Flapple comes out next and goes straight back home after being hit by a massive Mystical Flame. Last up is Baxcalibur, and after it was all going so well, I make a mistake. I completely forgot Hassel would Terrastilize Baxcalibur, meaning my Mystical Flame doesn't do a whole lot. Hassel replies with a Glaive Rush, which KOs X. I send out Moon next, who's proven pretty tanky so far, but even she goes down to a single attack. I'm really on the back foot now and I send out Scarlet to hopefully pick up the win. Scarlet manages to survive a Glaive Rush and gets a Shadow Ball off in reply, which KOs the Ice Dragon. What a hit by Scarlet. With that attack, we defeat the wannabe Shih Tzu Hassel and the Elite Four. Next up though is Champion Gita. We heal up and head into battle against Champion Gita, leading with Moon. Gita sends out her weird ostrich who does outspeed us and hits us with Dazzling Gleam. I honestly thought that attack would do more though. In reply, Scarlet uses Darkest Lariat, which gets the KO. Avalugg the tank comes out next and we do a good chunk of damage with Flame Charge. After tanking a body press, Moon destroys the giant iceberg with a brutal cross chop. Next up is King Gambit and we get a huge Flame Charge off, leaving him with 1 HP. In response, Gita KOs Moon with a Stone Edge though, and we send out X to mop up. I brought X out next because of Veluza, and it turned out to be a great move. Veluza comes out, but Grass Knot does work and KOs the Psychic Fish. Go-Go comes out next, but you barely see him considering X's Mystical Fire destroys him. Finally, we come up against Gita's ace, Glimora. The Rock Terror type manages to survive a Grass Knot and in reply hits hard with an Earth Power. Not an issue though, X powers through and KOs the floating Rock Flower with a second Grass Knot, crowning us Champions of Paldea. And of course, Nemona has something to say about it. This cinematic approach to starting a battle is so over the top, and yet I absolutely love it. We finally get to battle Nemona as an equal, and that means beating her again for the 100th time. Leading with X, Nemona throws out Lycanroc. We hit hard with Grass Knot, but Lycanroc holds on using Stealth Rock in reply. X finishes off the Rock Puppy in turn 2, and Nemona brings out Orthworm. A single Mystical Fire melts away the Steel Worm, and X is doing work. Goodra comes out next, and this could be tricky. A Dazzling Gleam doesn't quite finish off the Gloopy Dragon, who hits us with a Muddy Water. A second Dazzling Gleam lands though, and Goodra goes down. Next up is the Dunsparce, and X really doesn't have a good counter. That doesn't matter though when he only uses Coil instead of hitting us. Pormok comes out, and without missing a beat, X puts him back into his ball with a massive Psychic attack. Last but not least is Nemona's ace, Meowscarada. I consider changing Pokemon at this point to give X a break, but then think, why would I do that? A massive Mystical Fire wipes out Meowscarada and we beat Nemona again. With that battle, we officially are the Champions of Paldea, and there's just one battle remaining. The battle against AI Sada is at the end of the main story, and I make sure to include it every time. We make our way down to the bottom of Area 0, navigating the cutscenes and wild Pokemon until we can finally fight the ultimate battle. AI Sada goes into security mode, and we're tasked with calming her down by any means necessary. Leading with Red, we're up against Slitherwing first. Air Slash destroys Sada's first Pokemon, but Fluttermane comes out second and wipes out Red with a Power Gem. Ouch. Diamond comes out next and manages to tank a Shadow Ball before unleashing his own Shadow Claw, finishing off Fluttermane. Brute Bonnet is Sada's third Pokemon, and a Flame Charge manages to burn the prehistoric mushroom. Diamond gets hit by a huge earthquake, and I'm sure that would finish us off if it wasn't for that burn. Outspeeding Brute Bonnet, Diamond manages to get the KO with a second Flame Wheel, barely surviving his encounter. Sandy Shocks comes out next, and this is a Pokemon that definitely hurts. To ensure we get some damage off, we use Mach Punch but go down to a Power Gem. Moon comes out next and manages to get a big hit with Trailblaze, although has to tank a Power Gem in the process. Next turn, we finish off Sandy Shocks with a Flame Charge and face off against Screamtail. We hit hard with a Darkest Lariat, and Sada replies with a Drain Punch. That stolen HP proves just enough to keep her Screamtail in the fight as Moon goes down to a second attack. We send out X next to finish off the Mutant Jigglypuff and prepare for Sada's ace, Roaring Moon. Roaring Moon can do some serious damage, and I'm praying X can outspeed him to get an attack off. I select Dazzling Gleam and cross my fingers. We don't outspeed, and I'm watching X's health go down. Incredibly, he survives with 1 health remaining, and in reply, Oko's Sada's ace with a massive attack. What an absolute tank. With that battle, we have officially defeated Pokemon Scarlet using only a team of Fire Starter Pokemon, and I honestly really enjoyed it. It was definitely easier than the Grass Only challenge, so if you haven't watched that, definitely give it a watch. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.